Hey everybody, we're going to have a quick snapshot review of cost and revenue curves, particularly focus on profit and loss. So in this short video, we're going to look at total revenue, total cost curves, and marginal revenue and marginal cost curves, and establish the links between them. So what we'll do is we'll start with our diagram on the bottom there, and it's placed at the bottom because we're trying to form links with the diagram above it. Now, the diagram at the bottom, I'm going to draw quite simply a marginal revenue curve, which is a perfectly elastic line. This is going to assume that basically the price is constant of whatever good we're selling, so therefore the marginal revenue is perfectly elastic. I'm going to follow that up with a marginal cost curve that starts like that. So it's the same curve that you see, but a bit more elongated, okay? And you notice that the marginal cost crosses the marginal revenue at 2 points, 1 point at the beginning, 1 point at the end. Now, if you were watching the previous videos, you would note that where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, you have profit maximization. Okay, now looking at the diagram that I've just drawn, if there are two equilibriums where MC equals MR, does that mean there's 2 points of profit maximization? Well, we'll come on to that later. And the short answer is no, it doesn't mean that. What we want to do now is we want to add our total revenue curve, which is upward sloping, TR, and also our total cost curve. Now the total cost curve has a bit of an S shape, so we start off with low total costs, we start off with increasing total costs, then it kind of flattens out and then it rises again. Now we want to make sure that this total cost curve that we draw is in line with the curves underneath it, the marginal cost and marginal revenue, because we have to establish relationships between marginal cost and marginal revenue. So what I will do is I will bring up the equilibrium at Q, okay, as straight line as I can, just there, and I'll also bring up the second Q equilibrium also, because these points in the diagram where we have MCMR and MCMR, 2 points, as you remember, they represent profit maximization, okay? So that suggests that if we are drawing total cost and total revenue curves, okay, at the top, then surely if revenue is maximized, then the distance between the total revenue and the total cost curve should be quite the biggest distances they can be, basically, okay? So when I draw the total cost curve in this diagram here, the points at which MC and MR are equal, we should have the largest distance between the total cost and total revenue curve. So if we start off by drawing increasing total costs, as you can see, and then they start flattening out, okay? So let's just do that again. So increasing total costs, it starts flattening out and then it starts to rise again. And that will do for now, because what I can show you now is, if you notice, at the first point, let's call this Q1 down here, Q1. If we take that to the diagram underneath where MC equals MR, this does suggest that there is profit maximization occurring. But because actually marginal costs are falling, that's not quite true. You don't have profit maximization at that point. This is what I meant previously when just because there's 2 points where MC equals MR are both points profit max. Well, that's not the case. The other condition where MC equals MR is that in a diagram like this, you have to make sure that marginal costs are rising, okay? And if marginal costs are rising and MC equals MR, then you get profit maximization. So if you go back to the total cost, total revenue diagram at the top here, you'll notice that the distance between the peak of the total cost curve and the total revenue curve is the greatest, okay? Is the greatest in terms of the first marginal cost, marginal revenue outcome, yeah? So the distance between here and here is the largest it is anywhere in this section between, let's say, Z and A, okay? So the distance between here and here is the largest. So this indicates that total costs are much greater than total revenue by a large distance. Therefore, you are making a loss. Now, if you go to the second MCMR point, so this one here that I've highlighted, Now here, you notice that firstly, marginal costs are rising, which is the condition that we said we have to follow, and MC equals MR. So at this equilibrium here, you notice that total revenue is higher than the total cost. And again, the distance between the two, total cost, total revenue, total cost and total revenue at that point, at that second point of MCMR, so equilibrium Q2, is the largest. It's the largest distance you're getting. The distance between here and here, for example, between total revenue and total cost is not that big. The distance between here and here is not as big. The distance between here and here is not as big. But the distance between here, so if we just change the color of the pen, the distance between here, total revenue, and the total cost, at the point where MC equals MR, is the largest. So this is why when MC equals MR, you do get profit maximization, okay? So where MC equals MR, you get profit maximization. I hope that helps. I'll see you in the next video.